All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another market close. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 3:46 p.m. We are here once again. Did I say market open? I meant to say market close. I got to get back into the swing of things, dude. After you miss a day, like I missed yesterday, not because I couldn't, but because the markets were closed, kind of gets you off your game a little bit. So I'm happy to be back, and we are here getting into the rhythm again of doing what we have to do, which is analyzing the broader equity markets. And we've got a lot to analyze, folks. Headline of the day, Nvidia is up 7%. You guys can see from the thumbnail. It's just I don't even know what to make of it anymore. It is absolutely incredible, the game we're seeing, or the run we're seeing. We're going to talk about some statistics on Nvidia, what this run for Nvidia just today, forget over the past week since earnings, just today, what it means for the landscape of Nvidia's market cap, their PE ratio, and their essentially earnings in comparison to some other countries and how much those countries are worth. So we're going to be talking about that. Number two, GameStop continues its run. GameStop is not stopping. GameStop right here up 20% on the day. Pretty incredible on GameStop. We're going to be talking about the implications of why GameStop is up and how GameStop continues to go up. Openai had a scandal we talked about over the past couple of weeks with some of their head researchers leaving. Apparently, they left to a different company. We got some updates on where they left to today. So we'll be talking about that. And then on top of that, we have Kava earnings after the bell. So let me know in the chat if you've had Kava. I'm going to put the poll right now in the chat. Does Kava dump or pump after earnings? I've never had Kava. I think, ironically, my sister had Kava over the weekend. And I actually asked her about it. I was like, yo, how did you like it? Because I remember the earnings were coming up. And she said it was really good. She said she enjoyed it a lot. So it's up 94% year to date. I don't know if this is the next Chipotle, but this is definitely something that people like. So let's put the poll in the chat. Now, I just asked this on Twitter as well, and everyone says it's ridiculously overvalued. I actually have no opinion on this because I have not gone through their financials, but we'll talk about that today and keep going deeper into what's going out for Kava. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot to talk about. Back on the market close, back into the grind of everything. Hope you guys are here and enjoying. Hope you guys had a good weekend as well. Good Memorial Day weekend. Let's get into it. Ray, Walt, I'm Beneficial, Broccoli Bob, John Stevens. It's that time again. What's up, sir? Mila, Ian, Jason, Walt, Sleepy Investor, Carl, Belly Pork. Word of the day is late. Again, I got to start coming at 3:44 so no one can call this 1 minute late thing that I do every single day a reason for why I'm late. So I think we just got to start at 3:44 every single day. Ryan Carlson, Jason, Missy Iger, D Visual Arts, Mitchell, Old Brass, J Duff. What's up? What's up? Thank you all for being here today. All right, let's get into it. I think we'll start off with Nvidia. That's what we got to get into. So Nvidia right now is going through a run that I don't think we've ever seen before. And this is not even the all-time high. I mean, Nvidia's up 6.25% on the day. It was at one point up at 1,149. So basically that would be $115 post-split, which is just insanity at this point. It is just insanity. It's up $66 today, up 6%. Why is it up another 1%? I mean, I really don't have a reason for why it's up another 6%, other than the fact that people are getting FOMO. And the FOMO is getting to the point where I think a lot of people are realizing, hey, this thing's not stopping. This is the chart right here. It was at 459 in December, 1,149 now, 1133. Tuesday, May 28th. I mean, it's just incredible. It is just incredible. So I think the FOMO is catching up. I think the 10-to-1 split is getting people excited. We'll talk about Celsius as well. I got some more updates on Celsius. Celsius is down 13% on the day. At one point, it was down 18%, so it's actually recovered a little bit, but we'll talk more about Celsius. It almost hit the mid-70s today, so we'll talk more about them. But the NVIDIA run is just absolutely epic. Now, a couple stats on what's going on in the context of NVIDIA. Number one, NVIDIA's market cap is now greater than the entire market cap of the Canadian stock market. So the Canadian stock market is worth 2.7 trillion. NVIDIA is worth 2.8 trillion. Why does this matter? Because it just goes to show you, like, this is an American company that is just one part of the broader American ecosystem versus other countries' entire stock markets that can't live up to what NVIDIA is doing. So the money is coming back to the United States. The money's always going to be the United States. It's always going to be flowing to the United States. The question is, can we keep building more NVIDIAs inside of this country? And I mean, the fact that one company just surpassed Canada's entire market cap for their stock market is pretty damn incredible. Another important thing on NVIDIA that I think is really important today. So NVIDIA's market cap is now 2.8 trillion. So that's 600 billion more than Google. They're up 130% year to date, which means they've added more than $1 trillion in market cap in 5 months. The fear I have on NVIDIA, and this is the one part where I think eventually we're going to get a pullback, and the question is, how's it going to affect the broader markets, is that if NVIDIA falls back to $1,000, which, I mean, dude, like logically, one could argue NVIDIA should fall. Now, it would have to drop $115 from this price, which you would think, that would be a pretty serious dip, but it's not that crazy to think it goes down to $1,000, right? I don't think that's insane to say NVIDIA goes back to 1,000. I hope it doesn't take the market down with it. Right now, it looks like the market's kind of continuing to stay up and higher. S&P 500 at 528. S&P is actually red today because of NVIDIA earnings. And if NVIDIA were to drop dramatically, I wonder, just perceptually, even if it's not like justified on a PE basis, does the market fall with it? Because the perception is, well, if NVIDIA is falling, there's no reason to pay this much for the broader QQQ or the NASDAQ or the S&P, right? And as a result, it falls. So if NVIDIA has a normal pullback to $1,000, which I think is relatively normal, right? That would be a 10% pullback. It happens sometimes, probably not going back to 1,000. At this point, the cat's out of the bag. The guidance was good for Q3, so I don't think that's happening. But if it does happen and the S&P falls with it, that would definitely suck. I don't think NVIDIA is going to fall that low, but if it does, one thing to take into account as people are buying here at all-time highs. Isn't NVIDIA overvalued? Again, this is an age-old debate, but from what I'm looking at, and I think from what everyone's looking at, Q3 guidance is going to be $28 billion. They're still going to be growing triple digits in Q3. And so you can argue the PE now, their PE is 46, dude. NVIDIA's PE is 46. Apple's PE, again, is in the high 30s. Apple took a little bit of a fall today after it got to 194. Apple's PE is 28. And Apple's not growing revenues 262% year over year. So it's just like, I think that simple statistic I just said, along with the 10-for-1 split, it's getting people excited about NVIDIA. And if people are excited about NVIDIA, that's why they're coming in. That's why, the perception is that they're not overvalued, and people are buying. So we're seeing more momentum with NVIDIA today, and that's been really good for the stock. Snowflake, I actually haven't looked at it all day. Snowflake is down. Wow, 4%. Holy crap. Palantir is not even down like that. Palantir is actually green. Wow. Why is Snowflake down? I don't know. I actually don't know the reason. I don't think there's anything fundamental that came out about the company. Let me do a quick Twitter search to see if anything came out that I missed. Down 4% after an earnings is nasty, dude. You would think they move on from that. No, there's no reasoning. It's just markets just upset at Snowflake. The earnings were good. The earnings weren't bad. Again, they beat on revenue projections, 34% year over year. I just think the market's starting to realize, does this valuation make sense for us to even pay $55 billion for a company that, at the end of the day, may not have an AI strategy? They did say their margin guidance is going lower because they're starting to buy up all these GPUs. And it's just like, why are you spending all this money on GPUs? Like, you're a software company. Why? Like, what are you trying to do here, right? And if you're an AI company, if you're an AI LLM company, meaning you're building the models, you're not going to win. You're just not beating Microsoft or Google or Amazon at that game. So it's very weird to see how they're forecasting the spend on GPUs, but maybe that's why the street's a little bit upset of it. And that's why it's down 4%. Okay, let's talk about Celsius as well. Then we'll get into the meme stocks. We got the market close in 6 minutes. We have Kava earnings on deck. So Celsius suffered from two things today. Number one, they did a mixed shelf offering, which means they have the ability to dilute shareholders, but they did that on May 16th. So that's not that big of a deal, right? Like, that happened, but it seems like the market kind of took it more seriously today. On top of that, some Nielsen ratings came out this morning saying, okay, Celsius's week over week sales are down. And if there was week over week sales are down, then the hedge funds are basically like, all right, so their earnings are not going to come in as we projected, which is not the best thing. And then the biggest problem of Celsius is this clip that's starting to resurface and go a bit viral on the health problems of Celsius. So let's take a look at this clip right here, and then we'll keep going.
Energy drink, and those who use it typically drink it because they need a boost throughout the day. Well, on the side it says to not drink more than 2 servings per day, and Shay Cox did not follow those directions, and it landed him at UAB hospital.
Very fatigued. I was extremely yellow. I turned very jaundiced, and I had no appetite whatsoever.
Shaycock says he recently came to Birmingham this month to seek help from UAB doctors because medical professionals in Chattanooga could not figure out what was wrong with him.
My liver blood work kept rising, and we had no answers whatsoever.
That changed when he told doctors he added a new energy drink to his regimen.
I was drinking one in the morning before I go to work, and I would drink one in the afternoon. And we came to the conclusion it's potentially the green tea extract in the Celsius drinks.
Cox says that ingredient could have cost him his life.
I was told that my case is very severe, and I was in acute liver failure.
Certainly caffeine can predispose you to have abnormal heart rhythms.
Cox says it's going to take him several months to get his liver back to normal. So he sends this warning.
Definitely read the ingredients, do your research on this.
Okay, so now it's really funny because I see your guys' comments. It's just like Bay Ray says he's about to drink his third one. Eric says I can drink a pot of coffee without the issue. Here's a tweet by Kelly. I don't know how to pronounce this. Methylicolabamine. I don't know what the fuck that is, but apparently that's in Celsius. And I think it's not only Celsius, it's in a ton of these energy drinks, right? And so, like, look, energy drinks are not good for you. I mean, we all know this, right? I stopped drinking energy drinks a while ago. I love a good Red Bull, dude. I love a Monster. I mean, I love those drinks. That's why when I say Celsius is disgusting, I'm not saying it as someone who hates energy drinks. Like I like Red Bull. I like Red Bull. Like those things taste very good. I try to limit my intake of those because I know it's not the healthiest. But in general, Celsius as an energy drink never compared to the level of, like, I could taste the energy inside of Red Bull and Monster. I couldn't do that for Celsius. But apparently the health issues are getting worse. There's multiple cases of this stuff being reported. I don't think this is a reason that Celsius is in some type of existential threat. I mean, I think the sales going down week over week is what the street cares about. I don't think the street gives a shit that there's like this health concern because all these energy drinks have these problems. Now, if some studies come out that says Celsius's health concern is highly elevated compared to Red Bull and Monster, which personally I doubt that like it's that much worse, then maybe there's an argument there. But I think this has to do with growth. And now they're pricing in less growth over the next 2 quarters, which is why the stock's down 13%. I mean, that's a more reasonable argument for why the stock should fall. But if you're wondering why, it's because of the health stuff. It's because of the growth coming in a bit smaller than what the street expected. And when you're at a 20 billion market cap, almost half of Monsters, you're going to have really high expectations here. And then the mixed shelf offering, I guess you put all 3 of those things together, you start to get to a company that, or a stock at least, that's going to get sold off of it. So that's what we got on Celsius. There's some comment here that says, are they telling that Red Bull and Monster are healthier? I agree. Red Bull and Monster are no way healthier than Celsius. Celsius may be a little less artificial, but there's no way any of these drinks, dude, soda isn't healthy. Now, granted, I think a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew is healthier than a Celsius or a Red Bull, right? It's less damaging, but there's no way that it's like good for you. So in general, I do think this is a little bit of FUD unless more research comes out that says it's really bad. I don't know if it's a reason it should be down 15%. My question to the Celsius bulls are, if you're not buying on a 15% dip, when are you going to buy, right? Like there has to, if you're not buying today and you're a Celsius bull, there has to be something inside of you that makes you feel that this is going to get a lot worse. And so I was trying to ask on Twitter, like, what are the bulls thinking right now? Because it's not like anything that came out today was new outside of the same store sales being down a little bit, which is, yeah, I mean, that's fine. But Celsius over the long term it's not like the growth is necessarily slowing down at all. But Celsius is down. Nvidia, we got 20 seconds until the market closes, folks. Nvidia trying to close at 1140. Just insane. Just incredible. Absolutely insane. So there we go. It is 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 28th. We are back into the swing of things. The market is now closed. Nvidia closes at 1140 after hours. It's already at 1142. It's just incredible, dude. It's just incredible. Absolutely amazing. So there you go. You got Nvidia here at 1142. Matt says I bought 55-65 spreads on Celsius, 100% return if it's above 65 in December 2025. Yeah, I think Celsius goes above 65 in 2 years. So I think you're, or not 2 years. Yeah, basically a year and a half. I think you're good on that spread. But if you bought Celsius, 90, 75, 85, that's where you're just gonna have to wait till it pumps a little bit until it catches back up. All right, so where does Celsius end? Nvidia ends 7% on the day. Celsius ends down 12% on the day. Apple, their WWDC event is on June 10th. They announced it today. So we'll be seeing probably the new iPhone on June 10th and see what they've got going on. GameStop, I'll talk about that in a second. That's up 25% on the day. Bitfarms is up 9.41% on the day. Robinhood ends the day a little red. Robinhood was at like 2070 at the top of the day, 2053 after hours, slightly green. So basically a flat day for Robinhood. SoFi ends the day down 0.43%, 689. Someone on Wall Street Bets full ported their portfolio into SoFi. It's weird. The chart's not showing up on Webull, but they full ports it into SoFi. I'll show you guys that in a second. They bought 18,900 shares of SoFi at 694, I believe, or 692. Basically, they pulled a Noto. I mean, Noto pretty much bought at the same level as well. This is what they bought right here. So Wall Street Bets, someone went full port, 18,500 shares. I think below 7 is not a horrible price. So we'll see what happens with this full port. But I guess Noto buying also gave them the confidence that they were going to do it. 96% of their portfolios in. That's why I said full port. But yeah, pretty much they decided to go all in on SoFi. AMD had a nice day, up 3%. I didn't even see that. Wow, AMD is up 3% of the day. Enphase, I didn't get to look at that one after the market opened. Enphase, wow, it maintained 129. Enphase actually maintained $129. Not bad at all, dude. I didn't expect that from Enphase. Enphase kept up the gains over the past like 8 hours, keeping that momentum. All right, so we got Enphase there. We got GameStop here. GameStop down 3% after hours, but it's up 25% of the day. Coinbase at 245. Coinbase was up 3% of the day. Verizon down a little bit, down 1%. ExxonMobil was up 1.26%. Also, Chevron and Hess made a deal today. And then we have Kava's earnings right now. Let me get to that in a second. Chevron is up 0.81%. They bought Hess for $53 billion. So that was also something that happened today that became $53 billion. That was approved today. So Hess shareholders signed off on a $53 billion deal. I think we knew about this a while ago, but it officially got approved today. So that's why there was a little market reaction to Chevron. Okay, Kava. We have Kava earnings. It's up 1% after hours. Let me see if any numbers are out. Let me know in the chat if you bought Kava. Let's look at the poll. The poll says 65% of you think it's going to dump. Okay. 65% say it's going to dump. I have zero opinion on Kava because I just don't know this company at all. Pulling up their website. No earnings yet. It should be out pretty soon. Let's pull up their IR. I'm wondering, is this the next Chipotle? I mean, this is their website for those that have never seen it. They sell Mediterranean bowls. That's what they do. Mediterranean bowls. Again, I've never had it. But category defining Mediterranean fast casual restaurant brand bringing together healthy food and bold. It's up 94% year to date though. So I would be a little skeptical of getting excited about it because I mean, I don't know if people have missed the run or is that one of those companies where, you know, you just buy it whenever because they're going to keep executing. I don't know. Cav's up 2% after hours. No numbers yet, but we'll see what they say as soon as earnings are out. Webull's being weird, dude. I don't know why Webull's messing up on the charts. Very weird. It's not my Wi-Fi because the stream is not lagging. So it's like, I think it's a Webull thing today. There's another reason for Robinhood to come out with their chart product pretty soon because Webull is not necessarily doing the best here. Okay, so it's up 2% right now. Nothing too crazy. Must be a back-end issue. Yeah, probably a back-end issue. By the way, you guys know Webull tried to go public, right? They filed to go public as a SPAC for $7.3 billion in valuation. And when you look at their numbers in terms of their active users compared to Robinhood, it's like a joke, dude. It's like Robinhood is double their valuation, but they're like 10 times their usage and growth. So it does give a little bit of a floor to, you know, where these valuations might be set. Okay, so Kava, I don't know if I can trust Webull if it's moving in real time. I think it's moving in real time. It still says it's up 1.15% after hours. Isn't Webull a Chinese-based company? Yes, that is correct. They are a Chinese-based company. Okay, we got a little red candle there. Let me check Twitter. Let's see if we got numbers on Kava. Nope, no numbers on Kava yet. Probably comes down a little bit. Okay, while we're waiting on Kava, let me talk GameStop real quick. So GameStop's up 25% on the day. GameStop actually maintained its pump, which I thought was really exciting because this has been the first thing in a very long time that GameStop pulled up or actually kept their gain. And here's what I said. I'll be keeping an eye on Kava as I'm talking through this. Here's what I said I think GameStop should be doing. And I mentioned this briefly on the market Oh, Robinhood's up 1.32% after hours as well. I mentioned this briefly on the market open, but Kava's still up 2%. I think Ryan Cohen needs to buy Bitcoin. I think he absolutely needs to buy Bitcoin. So this is my logic behind it. I think it's really simple, and let me know what you think. Hey, Amit, any word on the time frame for Robinhood's new app features coming out? They have to do the 1% match, the credit card, the new UI, and the desktop version of their like trading pro platform. I have no idea when any of that's coming out, guys. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have Vlad's phone number, but I do think all of those things I mentioned, because they're not out yet, they're a tailwind because you've got Q2 and Q3, another 6 months for them to roll out a crap ton of features. So I would imagine by the summer, a lot of those features will be out. But when they do come out, it'll be really good just for, more momentum and growth. Okay, so I think GameStop should buy Bitcoin. Very simple. Why? 2 reasons. Crypto traders are going to see GME as a proxy like MicroStrategy and Coinbase, not to the same extent, but GameStop will attract crypto investors. Number 2, if Bitcoin goes to 90,000 by the end of the year, which seems like it's possible because of the new FASB accounting rules, GameStop will be able to show their EPS, their earnings per share, go up just on their Bitcoin paper profits. All they need to do is do a 50 million purchase. Kava's still up 1% after hours. You get the market excited, let crypto traders front run by buying more GameStop, thinking that, okay, GameStop's going to start buying more Bitcoin. And then I think Ryan Cohen should buy $500 million of Bitcoin, buy in increments of 50. So 9 more $50 million purchases, use 25% of their cash. I don't know what else they would do 25% of their cash with. You're not going to put it into a money market. Like you got to do something exciting. And you get a bunch of crypto people excited about GameStop now. I think it's an obvious decision, dude. Like if I was on his board of directors, I would be like, buy some mother effing Bitcoin, bro. Buy some Bitcoin. Robinhood's up 2% after hours. I don't know why. Did we get some news or something? Is this spiking? Did they put out a press release? What's happening with Robinhood? This could just be a dark pool thing happening. This could just be like someone, oh wow, it's up 3.5%. What the hell is going on? Hold on. Let me see if I can get some news. But I do think this makes sense for GameStop, dude. I think this makes a lot of sense for GameStop. You're going to get so many people excited in the context of crypto by just adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. I think it makes sense. Okay, what's going on with Robinhood? Let me see. I'm still waiting on Kava numbers, guys. I don't have it. Oh, shit. Holy crap. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Guys, no one said it in the comments. No one said it in the comments, so I get to break this news. You guys don't get to break this news. I get to break it to you guys. You guys don't know. Robinhood, if this tweet is not wrong, has announced a 1 billion share buyback purchase agreement. I hope to God this tweet isn't wrong, dude. If this tweet is wrong, it's going to be so embarrassing. Did they announce? It looks like I hope this isn't a random dude who just said this to say this. I hope he didn't say this. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go to their. Holy crap, dude. I did not think they were going to buy back the stock. Oh my gosh. Hold on. The news, press releases. I don't see anything in their press release. Robinhood share buyback. I hope that guy wasn't lying, dude, on Twitter. That would be so embarrassing. Sounds like a random dude. Well, his no, it's not random. Okay, it's other people. Okay, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. Like 7 accounts tweeted it. It's confirmed. Wow, $1 billion, huh? $1 billion buying back your stock on Robinhood. They really did it. I did not think they would do it. Someone asked me the other day, I talked about it this morning. Someone said, should they buy back their stock? I was like, no, you don't need to buy back your stock. Like, go do something else with it. Dude, holy shit, it's up 7%. Oh my God, are we about to break through 22? Are we about to break through 22? Oh my God, dude. 22 is going to be psychological if we break through 22. That's going to be hard to do. Holy crap, 2180 right now on Robinhood. Is that good? Yeah, it's good. I mean, look, they think they're undervalued. And they probably, and by the way, they authorized it. They don't have to do that. It's like a Palantir, right? You don't have to spend the billion, but let's say, they buy 50 million or 100 million every other quarter. They're basically saying, hey, we think the floor to the stock is 20, 21 bucks, and we're willing to buy our stock because we think are cheap. By the way, Robinhood's pretty fucking cheap. And they know that as well. They also must think that you can interpret it a bearish way, thinking, oh, the growth is going to be bad, so they're trying to like artificially engineer the financials. Or you can think the growth is going to be so good they want to buy their stock cheap. It's one or the other, and I think it might be the latter because we know the growth has been really good for Robinhood, right? 2150 after hours on Robinhood. Let me tweet this out real quick, guys. Robinhood announces $1 billion share buyback authorization. Wow, I did not expect this today, dude. I did not expect that. Share buyback program. Okay, cool. I posted it. Kava's mooning. Okay, let's go to Kava. Let's go to Kava. Okay, no, it's not mooning. Who? TM. That was a blatant lie, dude. That was not correct. That was Kava's mooning. I expect to see a green candle. I go here. All I see is red. It's down. Okay, let me get the earnings for Kava. Wow, did not expect that from Robinhood, guys. Did not expect $1 billion in buybacks. Okay, Kava CEO. Here's a couple quotes. We've seen resiliency across all income segments. That's good for the consumer. CEO says consumers are becoming increasingly discerning about where they spend dollars, and they're clearly choosing to do that at Kava. CEO says there are no price increases planned for the remainder of the year. Earnings, $259 million in revenue. They beat 249, so they beat by $14 million. EBITDA, 33.3, estimates 23. They beat by $10 million on adjusted EBITDA. EPS 12 cents, estimated 4 cents. They beat EPS by 300%. They beat EPS by 300%. That's not bad. That's really good. Robinhood up 6.5%. That's really good. Why are they down 4%? It has to be the guidance. They beat on revenue. They beat on EPS. They said they're not increasing prices. They see full year adjusted EBITDA. Oh, wow. They even raised their full year adjusted EBITDA from 92 million to 105 million. Why is the stock down? It's down 5%. Maybe it ran up too much this year. 94% year to date was just a little bit too much, which is, we saw that with CrowdStrike 2 quarters ago. Like, that stuff happens. But I don't think if you're long, there's anything to worry about on this earnings. This earnings looks good. Let me see if CNBC has some coverage. They have nothing yet. They're probably going to get Kava in a second. Box had earnings today as well. Okay, we'll go to Box's earnings in a second as well. Let me pull up Marv. Adam, Robinhood announced $1 billion in buybacks, bro. They're buying back $1 billion of the stock. They're buying back $1 billion of the stocks, up 6%. You know what's so weird, guys? Okay, this is how the market always knows. Okay, today Robinhood fell. It was at like $20.30. Okay, but my options for Robinhood were up. I kid you not. Usually when Robinhood falls, 1% or whatever, 0.5%, my options take a tumble, right? Because it's very volatile against Robinhood's stock price. Today, I was flabbergasted. I woke up, after the market opened, I saw Robinhood was down. I looked at my portfolio and it was green. And I was like, my portfolio shouldn't be this green given Robinhood's down. And then throughout the day, the options continued to stay green. And I was like, yo, what's happening here? I was like, why? Like, I see Robinhood going down and my options, they should go down. They shouldn't stay up. Like, they're very volatile, and they were staying up. And it's probably because someone in the market was buying up those damn options because they knew that Robinhood was going to announce a buyback. Someone always knows, dude. Someone always freaking knows about something. So there you go. Robinhood's up 6%. Kava's down 6%. Still makes no sense to me why Kava's down. Still makes absolutely no sense to me why Kava's down unless the guidance is bad, but the growth looks fine. All right, here, we got some CNBC coverage. Let's go to here. On Kava, and then we'll keep going. Dougie Fresh is thinking of the same thing. Yup, I'm pretty sure other people at Robinhood options were thinking that. Like, we're used to our portfolios taking a swing to the downside if Robinhood goes down. It's just how options are. But today I was like, why aren't these things going down? And it seems like we know why now.
So, nice caveat. Mike, thanks. Now, Kava earnings are out. Kate Rogers has those numbers. Kate.
Hey, John, a beat on the top and bottom lines for Kava. A Q1 earnings per share, 12 cents. That is much higher than the 4 cents that analysts were looking for. Revenues, $259 million. That is also higher than the $246 million that analysts were looking for. A reminder here, though, those are revenues for Kava total, restaurants and its consumer packaged goods brand. It sells dips and hummuses. Reminder for viewers here. Also, Q1 same-store sales up 2.3%, better than the 1.6% that analysts were looking for. Full year 2024 same restaurant sales guidance has been raised by the company to a range of 4.5% to 6.5%. That is higher than the previous range of 3% to 5%. But as you can see, the stock is lower by around 6.5% right now, though. Reminder, it's up about 90% year to date, guys. Back over to you.
All right, maybe a little profit taking there. People digest this name. Kate Rogers.
Oh, you get that? Morgan made I love Morgan so much, dude. First of all, Morgan is gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful. She's my favorite guest on CNBC. But I like that. As people digest these earnings, maybe they take some profits. Even though Dude, I don't know if this is a reason to take profits. I think this earnings growth is good. Down 4% now. I think this will recover. We'll go deeper into their financials later, but just as a non-biased, objective person looking in, these earnings look pretty damn phenomenal, and the guidance went up. Like that guidance going up is a big deal, dude, especially for a restaurant that's seeing a ton of consumers pick other cheaper options. I don't know if Kava is necessarily cheap, but I don't think it's like, you know, the cheapest. It's not as cheap as McDonald's. I would argue it's a little bit more expensive. People are still going to Kava. Okay, so we'll get into Kava again in a second. Let's see what else we can get on this Robinhood stuff. Dougie Fresh says, I bought 27 call options for a strike for Robinhood for January 2025 when Robinhood dipped to 1625. I'm up 148% in 3 weeks. Not bad at all. Makes sense. The dip to 1625 was a blessing, dude. That dip was incredible. I got my dad 100 shares at 1625. Like that dip was amazing. So Robinhood now is up 5%, falling down a little bit from that 21.99 level. You see how the market makers manipulate everything, dude. We were at 21.99, and this is not it's not like we were struggling to get to $22. It was 22 is so psychological because we haven't seen 22 that the market makers aren't ready to let us get there yet. Just like today, they kept the options elevated even though Robinhood was flat. And you know, the other thing I saw that on Robinhood that was interesting today, throughout the entire day, I saw the order book volume, and at every level, $20.50, $20.30, $20.40, there was like 40,000 shares waiting to get picked up. And it was like it's like someone had a hunch that Robinhood, if it fell, it's time to buy the dip, even on the dip of 10 cents, because like this is a must buy on the dip. And I was looking at the order flow and I'm just like, why are people getting ready to buy shares every 10 cents down? You know, if it falls 10 cents, you wait like $1, or you wait 30 cents, you wait 40. You don't wait for literal pennies to buy thousands and thousands of shares, but it seems like people knew they were going to announce something. It's just so crazy, dude. It's just insane that someone always knows. Someone always freaking knows. And the best thing we can do is try to get in earlier before people know, because usually retail is not going to be the one that ends up knowing. Okay, why is Path up 10%? I think Path is earnings tomorrow. Path's not up 10%. Path's not up 10%. Path is up 0.15. Path will have earnings tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see if Path goes up 10% tomorrow. All right, let me check my Robinhood. Webull showing me that Path is flat. Let me check Robinhood to make sure, because Webull's been weird today. Path. You guys said it's up 10%, dude. It doesn't look up 10% to me. Hold on. Path stock. Path is flat. Path is flat. I don't know why you guys saw 10%. It was weird. In the morning, you guys saw something weird as well. I don't know if it's Google Finance or something, but it's very weird what's going on today across these brokers. They're showing like weird prices across everything. Okay, so that's what we got on Robinhood right now. Kava, Path is still flat. Robinhood's up 4.49. Kava's down 5.5. Enphase is down a little bit. Where is Nvidia after hours? Is Nvidia up? Nvidia's up after hours, 11:42. And then GameStop, the Robinhood news interrupted my GameStop speech. I think Ryan Cohen needs to buy some freaking Bitcoin. And by the way, GameStop is also good for Robinhood. So you got Bitcoin that's good for Robinhood. You got GameStop that's good for Robinhood. You got $1 billion of share buybacks. Basically, at this price, they can buy 50 million shares at $20, or like $48 million, whatever, 48 million shares. So the float, by the way, on Robinhood is like 900 million. They would if they do 48 divided by like 950 million. Hold on, 48 divided by 950. They would decrease the float by about. Hold on, let's do the math. They would decrease the float by about 5%, dude. They would get rid of 5% of the float. Oh my God. DraftKings is down 11% of the day. If you guys missed the news, because the state of Illinois, which is a state in the United States, they increased the taxes for online gambling. And now instead of being 15%, it's going to be 30%. And it's not official law yet. In July, if it passes the House, it'll be official. But that's why DraftKings and FanDuel's parent company is also down. Because it's gonna bite into their margins. They're gonna pass the cost on the consumer. Consumers are not gonna want to pay that much money, so it's gonna hurt their overall EBITDA margins. And so, it's down 10%. It's a tough day for DraftKings, but regulations hit it today. There's no S in Illinois. I'm sorry. I think I said it right on the market open. I said Illinois, but you know me. I have to mess up. I have to mess it up somehow. Okay, so that's what we got for Robinhood. What else do we have? Did Nancy know about Robinhood? Dude, imagine Nancy has some fucking Robinhood calls and she knew about it. Wow, we're still at 4%. Okay, so do I expect this 4% to hold for Robinhood? I'm not sure. because like I don't know. I think so, yes. We'll see tomorrow how it plays out, but in general, $1 billion to me is bullish. Can someone give me the bear case with $1 billion buyback? I don't know what the bear case is. The only bear case I can think of is, oh, Robinhood thinks they're not growing enough, so they need to buy back their stock. But that's not the case. They're growing revenues at 40% year over year. I think they're buying back the stock because they have $5 billion in cash. The $5 billion is not generating that much in bonds or in treasuries. So I think to them, they're like, all right, we have momentum. Maybe we see some weakness in Q2, Q3. Historically, June's going to suck, right? We know June, the stock market tends to fall off. Let's say June sucks and Robinhood's trading volumes, crypto volumes, they don't do as well. And the stock falls to like 19, 18. I don't think that'll happen, but let's just imagine it happens, right? It's very possible it could happen. Maybe that's when Robinhood thinks, holy crap, if we fall back to 17, 18, 19, given the credit card, given the growth we're having, given the net deposit growth, given this, given that, given crypto, but every single catalyst in the book, we should buy the crap out of our stock if we fall that low. Remember, Robinhood spent $656 million buying back their stock at $10.96. Those were the Sam Bankman-Fried shares, 55 million shares. And that reduced the float by 5%. That was an exceptional buyback, one of the best uses of their $6 billion in cash. Now they have $5 billion in cash and they're probably looking at their stock like, damn it, we're undervalued. If there's a good dip, we should just buy our stock, especially before we get into the interest rate cutting cycle of 2023, which would be a very good thing for Robinhood, very good bull run for the broader market. That's the assumption I think that most people have. And so that would be pretty strong at the end of the day for Robinhood. So maybe that's why they're doing it. I think that's why they're doing it. Super bullish to buy back at $20. Yeah, that's the other thing, dude. I don't think it's a bearish thing they're doing this. I think they're thinking, hey man, we're really undervalued. And dude, here's the thing about Robinhood. I think I was thinking about this last night. I think they've realized they have so much momentum behind them, like so many tailwinds, that if they can just keep stacking those tailwinds, and one of the biggest tailwinds was Bank of America saying, yeah, these guys are worth $24 a share. These guys are like the way to go. They don't want to even have for a second doubt from the institutional side, which owns 80% of their shares, by the way, that they shouldn't keep buying their stock. And I think giving shareholders a reward of buying back your own stock just reinforces that, no, guys, this is not a joke. Like we're here to fucking win. Like we're not playing around here, and we'll buy back our own stock. That's how confident we are in our company and in our vision. And so I think that's what they're doing now with this. Okay, cool stuff for Robinhood. Let me see what else we've got going. Oh, we had Box earnings. Let me pull up Box earnings, and we'll get to that. So let's pull up Box. Box is not the same as Dropbox, but it is a company that does something. Here we go.
Yeah, and of course, we've seen them move higher in sympathy with Nvidia. Call it over the past week or so as well. Speaking of tech, we've got Box earnings out. Deirdre Bosa has those numbers for us. Hi, Dee.
Morgan, they've been all over the place in the after hours. They were up more than 6 or 7%, briefly negative. Now they're higher by about just less than 1%. This is the cloud content management platform, beating on the top and bottom line. EPS beat of 39 cents adjusted versus 36 expected. Revenue coming in at nearly 265 million versus 262 million, which is what the street was expecting. The guidance was mixed, and that is likely what investors are digesting right now. The second quarter revenue outlook was a little light. Fiscal year 2025 EPS on the lower end of expectations, and full year revenue guidance slightly below expectations too. So that's probably what is making the stock volatile in the after hours. I did speak to CEO Aaron Levy not long ago, who said that he has met with hundreds of customers over the past quarter. Their primary singular focus, he says, is how to leverage AI to drive productivity, growth, efficiency.
Okay, Box, and I've used Box before, dude. In fact, the Robinhood Vlad interview, they sent it to me via Box. So it's not like Dropbox, but it kind of is. It's a storage platform. It's hard to describe it, dude. Robinhood's still up 4.5% after hours. Box is up 1.36%. It's not Dropbox, but it like hosts your enterprise's data. It's like a storage thing for your enterprise. It's kind of a boring company. I'm going to be honest, but like the Vlad interview was like 10 gigabytes. So they sent it to me via Box. And so I had to make a Box account that day. It's a public company, develops cloud-based content management. Okay, so if you're a company that has tons and tons of data, you use Box to store it. Not really that exciting of an earnings. Box is, I don't know, is their stock up year to date? They haven't really had a big year. Their market cap is $3 billion. It's not a big company. Year to date, they're down 3%. Over the past year, they're down 10%. Past 5 years, they're up 35%. So They've had a good run over the past 5 years, but not like a huge name in tech. But good to see that they beat on earnings, because you want to see companies like this beat. You don't want to see them miss. And they did what they had to do. They beat. You're just not going to see a major swing in terms of their stock action. Robinhood still up 4.6% after hours as well. Fife is reporting this earnings, or this evening. Faraday Future, are they reporting today? Really? Interesting. Okay. I mean, I guess we'll see later if they actually if they put up some numbers. If they're reporting today, they're up 1.6%. Faraday Future still maintaining $1. This thing was 6 cents 2 weeks ago. So I mean, it's put up a hell of a fight, and it's still maintaining that $1. We'll see if it ever falls after they have their earnings, but so far it's been pretty good. And if it can stay above $1, then they're probably not going to get delisted. Hims is up 13% on the day. Hims had an interesting story, dude. The GLP-1 drugs come out for Hims. They spike up 30%. Then they fall right back down to where they were at 16. They went from 16 to 20. They fell right back to 16. It was a pretty obvious buy the dip, I think, for most Hims shareholders, but you have to have some conviction there, because like, you know, the market was being kind of dumb going up and down, and now it's back up to $19. So for Hims, if you got, same thing with Robinhood. Robinhood fell to 16 on a Wells notice 3 weeks ago, right? That the SEC was suing them. And now the SEC is that's suing them supposedly about Ethereum, literally just approved Ethereum ETFs. So, I mean, there's all these opportunities sometimes when things get stupid. And that creates opportunities. Faraday's going to have their call at 8 p.m. Interesting. It says they report on June 7th. Okay, so maybe they report a week by now. But I guess the stock has to stay above $1 until June 7th. All right, so that's what we got on Robinhood. On Kava, is Kava still down? Kava is, wow, down 7%. Okay, let's pull up Kava's earnings. I said I was going to look at that. So let's actually look at Kava's numbers. So Kava says we grew 30% year over year. 14 new restaurants opened. Restaurant level profit margin of 25%. Now, I don't know about the restaurant business that much, but I think 25% operating margins on restaurants is pretty damn good. I might be wrong there. It's not software margins at 85%, but I still think 25% on restaurants are pretty good. So margins, I don't think are necessarily horrible. So revenue's up 30%, 256 million. They opened up 14 new restaurants. They have 323 in the country. 2.6 million average on that, the average sales per restaurant. Restaurants make about 64 million in profit. Digital revenue was 37%. Net income was 14 million. Look at that. They're profitable. Last year, they lost 2 million. This year, they made 14 million. That's up 300% year over year. That's not bad at all. I'm confused. Why? Again, it's either people took profits or people thought the valuation was getting ahead of them. Well, the market cap on Kava is 9 billion. Okay, yeah, I guess you could. They're basically doing $1 billion in revenue, 9 billion in profits, or 9 billion market cap, and they're doing 50 million in profits, 80 million in profits. So yeah, I guess the PE is 393. It's a little up there. Yeah, it's there. I guess people took profits. Amit, have you seen the price of Chipotle? Yeah, Kava's the healthier version of Chipotle. Just saying. I've been thinking, can Kava become a Chipotle? I don't know if that's the case. I got to go deeper into their growth, but I think that's the reason people are willing to pay a 363 PE on Kava. It's that this thing, Chipotle, which is going to be $60 soon because it'll do a 50 for 1 split, or a 1 for 50 split. We're going to see, potentially Kava have somewhat of a Chipotle trajectory, potentially, if it ends up growing as much as Chipotle. Robinhood now at 3.2% after hours, 21.13. Again, whether the stock falls or pumps on this, I think the key big news is that they're willing to buy back $1 billion of their stock, which is just pretty incredible, dude. It's pretty damn incredible. $1 billion, that's 5%. I'm looking at some of the comments right now on Twitter. 5% of the market cap. Again, I'm trying to think, is this bearish? I don't think this is bearish. I think they realize it's fucking obvious here that that we should buy our stock. Like, it's just I would say it's bearish if we saw growth slow down. But from everything we're seeing, especially what we've seen in April, growth is not slowing down. And again, even growth slows down slightly. Maybe they don't grow 40% year over year. They grow 28%, 29%, or 24%. That's still compounding very well. And now if there's a dip on that, they have a basis to just buy up their stock and create a little bit of a floor to the company as well. I think this is good news, dude. This is pretty damn incredible. Robinhood and Palantir about the same price. Yes, that is correct. Robinhood and Palantir. Where's Palantir today? I think I bought like 10 more shares of Palantir today. Palantir 21.05 is down $20.97. Dude, I've been saying it. I sound like a broken record. I think under 22, Palantir is a buy. And I think at some point this year, Palantir at 21 is going to seem stupid. Market's going to realize that. Rate cuts are going to happen. Palantir is going to start pushing 30. And then it's so funny when things happen, dude. I saw this with Robinhood, like 14, 15, 16, 17, then 20 becomes the norm. Eventually 22 will become the norm. With Palantir, eventually 25, 26 will become normal. People are like, well, it's an AI. It's gonna power the entire world's opera. They get a government contract. Oh, the government's gonna keep giving them like 23, 24, 27, 28. It's gonna be normal to buy it at those prices. And if you are not fully satisfied with your Palantir position, I definitely don't think at this price. Again, my logic has been I don't think it falls below 20, and I don't want to pay 23, 24. I definitely don't want to pay 25. So 21 or $20.40, whatever it is, it seems like a really easy sweet spot. And that's why it makes sense. What would you pick between the two? So again, long-term, I would pick Palantir. I think it's pretty obvious. Short-term, Robinhood just has more catalysts, which is why I've been excited about Robinhood. But long-term, I think, dude, it's a no-brainer. I mean, like it's Palantir. It's like there's no other company I want. I mean, I want to try to get to like 10,000 shares of Palantir over the next year, dude. So like that's why being down to $21, I don't really mind at all. I'm just like, all right, the company's executing. They haven't done anything that makes me feel weird. I think they just keep continuing to execute. So if that's the case, I mean, could I get to a lot of shares? Who knows? Maybe it's possible. And if that's the case, then I would have a fully fledged up, and then I could shit on those shares. I could sit on those shares for a lifetime, and I can give them to my kids, and my kids' kids can keep them, and I can keep Palantir forever. And look at the gains on Palantir forever. Okay, here's Liz Young. She's continuing to be bearish. This is why I can never date Liz Young. I love Liz, but can never date her. So Liz, if you're interested, I'm sorry. We can't do it because I can't date a bear. But here's her saying why the market is overbought.
The road ahead for the markets with tech once again apparently in the driver's seat. Let's bring in SoFi's head of investment strategy, Liz Young, and she is here at Post 9. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, I mean, healthcare is selling off a bit today, but to me, the big story just remains Nvidia.
Yeah.
Because it continues to keep this market levitating, and it continues to keep investors positive, and specifically in the area of tech. And even Apple was higher today. It turned down. We'll cover that in a little bit. But Nvidia, unbelievable.
Yeah, well, and we've got this situation, too, where you've got econ data that's warming up again. Some of the stuff that we thought was softening or that was problem areas like consumer confidence, consumer sentiment, PMIs last week came in stronger than expected. So we've got this heating back up and the narrative around maybe a recovery, another recovery in some of that softer data. So there's nothing right now to look at as an investor and say something's wrong. And even when you look at the market and what people have bought, we're not in overbought conditions. Nothing is screaming overbought. Not the S&P, not treasuries, not Bitcoin.
Not even the NASDAQ?
Well, I think there are.
Guys, I read the title wrong. The title is Stock Market Appears Strong and Nothing Screams Overbought. I thought it was Liz Young says the stock market seems overbought. So Liz, if you were interested in dating again, we can date because you're bullish. But yeah, apparently, dude, if Liz is bullish, I'm just saying, maybe it's a bull market.
We're over 17,000 today, right? For the first time ever. Now it's come back a little bit, but you get my point. I mean, the money continues to flow into tech.
Right. Well, but even if you are in the camp that I'm in, where I think that we're in this elongated late cycle, what do you want to own? You want to own large caps. And in this particular environment with yields where they are, and hopefully they will come down eventually as the year goes on, large cap tech and profitable large cap tech is the place to be.
That's what Goldman's Tony Pasquarello, I mentioned this on halftime, but for those of you who didn't hear it there, I'd argue that the reporting period justified the earnings season that just ended, justifies a claim that the Mag 7 remains the most durable and at certain turns, the most convex set of stocks in the market. Said another way, this cohort displays ongoing elements of both the sword and the shield. To your point, offense, they work. Defense, they work.
I think what used to be the case, and what is different this time, even though saying that phrase makes me shudder, but what used to be the case, so if we rewind to the early 2000s and you looked at tech stocks, there wasn't that fundamental support underneath them. And we had valuations way higher than they are now. So there was a lot of multiple expansion and not a lot of support behind it. we're in a situation now where these stocks have worked for investors. So not anymore are they just these high beta, highfalutin tech stocks. People look at them as somewhat of protection and even some diversification away from old economy in their portfolios. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of what's going on today and what the risks are that still are out there for some of these stocks because of yields. So yields are up today, not just because of strong economic data, but because we had a couple really weak Treasury auctions. And that could continue to push things
right?
up.
The 2-year is approaching 5%.
Yep.
As we said.
We had a week 2 and a week 5-year auction. And then people, why does that matter? Because independent of inflation, independent of economic data, and independent of what the Fed is going to do, we've got pressure higher on yields, which just brings that tightening back into the conversation and lower appetite for treasuries, which is not good for our burgeoning debt problem and what the Treasury and the government needs to do to finance continued spending.
What do you make of the fact that investors continue to buy in? Okay. I thought there was a really interesting story in the Journal today. U.S.-based mutual and exchange-traded funds have drawn a net $172 billion of inflows so far this year.
Bro, that's almost a quarter of $1 trillion in 2024 came into the stock market this year. It's just absolutely incredible. And there's still $6 trillion on the sidelines.
That's a turnaround from assets flowing out of those areas over the past couple of years. So they're not, investors aren't as risk averse, right? There's the money that had flowed through the money market system is now finding its way into the markets.
Yeah.
And that's fueling some of what you're seeing, in Nvidia included, you have to imagine. I'm sure there are investors who've been sitting in cash at 5% and say, gosh, I don't know, Nvidia at 900, is it too late? Nvidia at 950? Too late? Maybe not. Nvidia 1,000, 1,050.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be an auctioneer in that.
I mean, it's tough, right? And you're not getting a lot of hands up in the air at that point.
I think. The point is you are. That's the crazy thing. You are.
Well, so I think what will start to happen, if you look at what happened even just broadly in the market, we had that little pullback in April and we're back up to slightly above where we were, but we've been kind of sideways since we recovered from that pullback. Now I think investors are going to start searching for other places rather than the ones that have been popular. So if you look at tech, I think what could happen, and this happened earlier this year, some of the old tech caught a bid. Some of the stuff that wasn't semis, just because it was like, I want to be invested in tech, but this stuff doesn't look like a good entry point anymore. So I'm not going to buy that. I'll buy something else that's adjacent, or things like copper, right? That's flying because we've got data centers and demand for copper into the future. Utes that are flying because of the same sort of theme. So I think some of these adjacent stories will catch a bid as long as the market continues to stay afloat.
You know what I feel like falls into that category is even within the Mag 7. Apple.
So this is pickle.
So here's my question, guys. I think Liz Young made a lot of points. Is it time to sell now that Liz Young is bullish? Is it like it's? I mean, like, dude, this is the first 5-minute clip I've watched probably in the past 3 months where she's like bullish. Like, she's not giving a single reason for why we should be scared or skeptical. Either the data has fundamentally changed and she accepted defeat, and that's a good thing because, like, bears become bulls and it becomes inevitable, right? It's kind of like you're proving your haters wrong, right? Like when you succeed, like they can't say anything anymore. And it's kind of that's how the stock market works, right? When the market goes up and you're bearish, it's like, what can you really say other than scream that it's going to keep falling? Or it's euphoria has gotten so high that the most bearish of the bearish bears are now bullish. I think it's the former over the latter. I think the data is pretty obvious. And what she said at the end about how copper's going up, literally because tech is driving more AI data center demand, which means to build those data centers, you need, raw materials like copper. Like that in and of itself is a very logical argument to show, along with Nvidia's $28 billion in guidance, that this train is not slowing down. And if this train isn't slowing down, then it just makes sense for us to understand this is the new market that we are currently in. Faraday futures down 3% after hours. Chipotle's flat. Palantir. I'll talk about Palantir buybacks in a second because I see some questions about that. Nvidia, wow, 11.45 after hours. It's up almost another percent, dude. Robinhood's up 2.83%, 21.05. So I expect, I think Robinhood could fall back down. I think they could lose their pump. I don't think a buyback necessarily is the reason they should pump. But again, the buyback itself is good news for investors. One piece of news I'm looking at right now on Robinhood's buyback, they are allowed to do it in Q3 of this year. So they can start doing it in November. And they can do, this is a 2 to 3 year timeline that they have to buy back $1 billion of shares. So they're basically giving themselves the authorization to buy back their stock over the next 2 to 3 years. And if they think there's a meaningful dip in those 2 to 3 years, there is a way that they can buy back the stock. Again, it's really good news, man. Along with the external catalysts that are there, I think it's pretty obvious what's happening with the Robinhood story. Does the pump remain today? I mean, I don't know. You know, it could, it couldn't. But the fact that they're willing to buy their own stock is just a vote of confidence. And the street's going to recognize that. You know, the street's going to recognize that tomorrow morning. The street's going to have to make a decision. Like, hey, if Robinhood's willing to buy their own stock at $20, do we not think there is upside here, right? And I think they'll have to see what happens. Okay, so in terms of Palantir, a lot of people are asking why isn't Palantir doing the buybacks? The difference between Palantir doing buybacks and Robinhood doing buybacks is Palantir has more than double the shares outstanding. So the reason I've always said Palantir should not do buybacks is because even if they were to take all billion shares or $1 billion and buy back shares at this price, at $20. Now, if we get to 15, it's a different question. But at $20, they would only eliminate, 47 to 48 million shares, or at $20, literally 50 million shares, right? Off the float. There's 2.18 billion shares that's getting increased 3% year over year. I don't think it would make a meaningful dent in the broader ecosystem of shareholders if they bought back 50 million shares. I think what would make a dent is if they put that billion into boot camps and they grew customers by 400%, So to me, Palantir is not a story that needs to buy back their stock. Palantir is a story that needs to excessively grow. Now, why does Robinhood's buyback make more sense? The reason for that to me is Robinhood is a very cyclical company. I was talking about that in the chat during the video, but if Robinhood's a cyclical company, meaning if the S&P fell to 4,800, Robinhood would go like $12 tomorrow, like maybe 14, right? Like if the market falls, trading volumes stop, crypto volumes stop, right? If things get bearish, and Robinhood doesn't really make that much more money outside of the external businesses like retirement and gold that are inconsequential. Net interest revenues, yes, are going to be fine, but their transaction revenues are going to go down the drain. So for Robinhood to maintain the momentum, especially during a dip, right? A dip that may last a couple of months, right? A pullback in the S&P for 10%, that might hurt their earnings by 30, 40%. They need to have kind of a safety in the back of their hands. And I think that's what the buybacks are, because Robinhood's a different business from Palantir. Palantir, like a bad economic environment might hurt Palantir, but if you believe Alex Karp, he thinks bad times are good for Palantir, and that's when software is needed the most. That's when companies actually recognize the value of something like a bootcamp, and so they should be able to sell even more. And if they've invested more in the bootcamp strategy, which I would want them to do with the $4 billion they have in cash, they said accelerate customer growth, through to the moon. Whereas Robinhood can't do that. Robinhood can't just make the market go up, which means they're not going to be able to generate the trading volume. So I think for Robinhood, it's more so a question of protecting themselves when things get bad. But for Palantir, I think it's a question of them actually growing, which is why I don't think they should do the same type of buybacks right now. They did buy $9 million of their stock last quarter. We saw that at $24.77. But I think that was just like a throwaway. I think they were just testing the waters to start doing that. Vlad is a numbers guy. It's not rocket scientist to believe he knows what he's doing with the buyback and when to. Yeah, I agree. And again, they have a shit ton of tailwinds, dude. They have the credit card, they have the gold subscribers, they have the web product, they have the international expansion. There's 500,000 people on the credit card wait list that aren't even gold subscribers. I mean, there's just too many catalysts. So I think they're doing this from a strong position, and they're just guaranteeing that they protect themselves this year and they give back to shareholders in a real way by buying back 50 million shares of their stock versus, being afraid of what will happen and then not, and then, not having the potential to buy back their stock if they think that there's a good dip. What web product? They're going to try to compete with Webull. You guys remember Vlad was on the show and he was like, I see your streams and you don't use Robinhood. And I was like, yeah, I don't. It's because like Robinhood's website app sucks, quite frankly. Like it's just not a good app to like actually look at advanced charts. And he knows that. So if they change that and they make it better than Webull, like what I need Robinhood to do is build a stock screener. You know those screeners you go to where you're trying to find the net revenue or the net income, the revenues, the free cash flow. I want that to be incorporated into my brokerage. And I want to be able to click on a stock, get all of that information in a very simple UI, and then be able to pull up advanced charts like a trading view and actually do all the technical things I want to do. And if Robinhood could build that and potentially replace TradingView, which is like what, $200 a year for $5 a month, I think that's also an argument for why gold will increase their subscribers as well. So I think that's going to be important for Robinhood. Mid, did you see Dan Ives' email on T-Mobile? What do you think about buying wireless stocks right now? Which wireless stocks do you think are the best? I don't think T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T are exciting at all. I mean, dude, like these stocks right now, there's nothing interesting about any of these companies. Like I saw the T-Mobile did an acquisition, for those that don't know today. It's up 1%. None of these companies are super interesting. Now, Verizon was interesting when it fell to $29 because from a mean reversion perspective, it was obvious that it was not going to stay at $29 for a long time. But T-Mobile year to date is up 3%, and over the past year, it's up 23%. So I guess at 130, it was a decent buy in June last year. But this year, it's lagged, pretty much any stock that's had a decent year. And I just don't know what's super exciting about companies like T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon right now. So I'm not interested in them. I did see Dan Ives' email on it. I don't know if there's like a big secular growth trend coming in the telecommunications space. But it's not like they're bad companies. It's just not the most exciting given some of the other narratives we have playing out this year. Chevron has $53 billion. Yup, that was a big news today for Chevron. And the market already knew about that, so there wasn't any reaction. They just finalized it today. And so, yeah, those were big news. Okay, OpenAI. I didn't get to talk about those guys. So let me talk about OpenAI. So remember the dude that I said left OpenAI, who was the head of ML research? And he put out this weird cryptic kind of statement last week, basically saying that, OpenAI screwed him when he was trying to authorize, more safety concerns. And Sam Altman was like, no. Yeah, he's now working at Anthropic. Anthropic, for those that don't know, is the creator of Claude, which is another LLM competing with GPT. And Amazon put $4 billion into this company. So Jan Leakey, he says, I'm excited to join Anthropic. My new team will work on scalable oversight. If you're interested in joining, my DMs are open. So they must have paid him tens of millions of dollars, and now he's at Anthropic. Amazon is not letting Microsoft have all the fun. And it seems like the AI wars are just beginning. And the way they're beginning is by siphoning talent that doesn't ideologically agree with the top dog in the space, the top dog being Sam Altman and OpenAI. Elon has been warned about this for a long time. This is, hey, dude, I don't know if these guys can be trusted. And that's why I'm so curious, dude. I don't think anyone's talked about the fact that if they work with Apple, Tim Cook is giving Sam Altman access to 2 billion iOS devices overnight. I think that's a lot of power to give OpenAI, and I don't know, given they could barely keep their employees that just raised concerns about safety. By the way, the co-founder of OpenAI, Ilya, he left last week as well. I don't think everything is, sunshine and rainbows for why he left. I don't think he just wants to, go on vacation. I think there's a reason he left. I'm curious how Tim Cook feels about giving Sam Altman that much control. And it's not like Tim Cook to give that much control. By the way, today in 2014 is when Apple bought Beats headphones. It was the largest acquisition that Apple ever did for Beats headphones. For those that don't know about that, they paid $3 billion for Beats. It was this day, May 28th, 2014. So Apple really hasn't done a big acquisition since then. If they partner with OpenAI, I guess that would be a huge partnership. It's just a question of if that's a meaningful partnership to do. They had a chance to buy Tesla again in 2018, but Tim Cook refused to take the meeting. So they ended up passing on Tesla. But that's what we got right now in the context of OpenAI. I thought that was really interesting. And OpenAI is I mean, it's just I think OpenAI is going to be a $1 trillion company. I think 80 billion, which is their market cap. I think GPT is better than everything else, just given what I've used. And so I think OpenAI is going to win long term, especially if they get access to the iPhone. But it's just really interesting seeing these people leave the company because they don't, I guess, philosophically agree with how Sam Altman's running it. Robinhood 2115 up 3.42% after hours. Faraday is down 3%. Box is up a little bit. Kava is down 6%. GameStop up 25% of the day, down 3% after hours. AMC also was up 5% on the day. AMC was flat on the day. AMC is down a little bit after hours. And then Celsius after hours is down a little bit as well. It was down 13% for the day. The Beats acquisition was great for Apple. I agree, 100%. I think it was good. The Beats acquisition was one of those. I don't think the headphones on Beats are that amazing, even though I use Beats and they're good headphones. But there's probably better headphone brands. But the brand that Dr. Dre built, that brand, is just undeniable. I mean, they partnered with every athlete, every freaking celebrity. I remember my first pair of Beats headphones was 2011. I got them as a graduation present when I graduated 8th grade. And I just remember how excited I was to get a pair of Beats headphones. It just looked cool, dude. I'm wearing Beats headphones. So like that brand was iconic, and Apple did a really good job. Sometimes I forget that like they bought Beats, and like if you buy Beats, you're technically paying Apple. But yeah, that was always a good thing for Apple to do, and they haven't really done an acquisition since then that has been that monumental. How does OpenAI affect Microsoft? Well, here's the thing: if OpenAI keeps growing, from my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong on this, like on the technicalities, but Microsoft owns 50% of these guys. Like that's my understanding of the deal. So if OpenAI is worth $1 trillion, let's say in a decade, which I don't think is crazy to say at all, dude. The way AI, dude, if Elon gets to raise at $24 billion, which is almost 1/2 of OpenAI's valuation, and Elon has no product other than Grok, which like is not really a real product at the end of it. Like they're still really building out Grok. OpenAI is going to get a premium. It's going to get a ridiculous premium. And so if OpenAI is worth $1 trillion and Microsoft owns 50% of them, does that mean Microsoft's worth $500 billion extra? Like, is that the way Microsoft pumps over the next decade along with their own growth? So I don't know, maybe, but we will see. Beats headphones are fantastic. Beats are great for the culture. Yep. I agree. 100%. I agree with all those. Jeff Kilberg just said Tesla should buy Intel for their Gaudi chip. The Gaudi chip, I did a little bit of research on it. I'm not an expert on Gaudi versus the Blackwell chip, but Intel, I remember the day Intel announced it, the market, dude, their stock went up like 0.3%. The market didn't give a crap that they announced this Gaudi thing, dude. The market did not care at all. Intel right here is at 3106, up 1.1%. It's up today, which is good, but yeah, I don't know if the Gaudi chip has anything on the H100, and if that's the case, then maybe the market's not going to be that excited about that. And maybe Tesla's, not going to buy that either. Lululemon, yeah, this thing has been a disaster. Lululemon, $295. It's down, let me check, 50% year to date. The problem with Lululemon is it's not like the consumer is dying right now in terms of their spending power, but they are being more conscious. I mean, you guys can ask yourselves, I'm assuming, yeah, Lululemon's down 41%. You can ask yourselves, if you go out to a restaurant and you have the option behind, maybe taking a cheaper meal. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, like myself, are electing, do I really need extra pickles? Like, probably not, right? You're getting a little bit more conscious. So down 41% year to date. Lululemon sells sweaters for $130. I mean, unless it's like, the sweater has got to do a lot of things for me to pay $130 still. It's got to do a lot of things. I've got to feel like the smartest guy on the planet to be wearing their sweaters to pay $130. So I think that's why we're seeing some weakness in that stock, and their guidance is reflecting that they're just not able to put up the numbers that they were, in 2022. And so we're seeing some issues here. Here's Lulu right now. Like, let me go to men, and let me go to button-down shirts. Yeah, dude, $88 for this. Are you kidding me? $88 for this? This thing probably cost them $3 to make in Bangladesh, and they're charging $88 for it. Like, who's buying this stuff, dude? Like, you've got to you just got to not care about money to buy it. Like, you really have to be so insensitive to money, or you just have to be an idiot to buy this shit. Like, it's hard to offend anyone, but like, I cannot imagine paying this money. Now, look, maybe if I was rich and I really wanted some beautiful, high quality, short sleeve, airing easy shirt. Airing easy? I don't even know what that means. Airing easy, short sleeve shirt. Then sure, I've got the money to buy. But the majority of people do not have $88 lying around for a t-shirt. Like, I don't care how rich you are. And most people that are rich don't do that because they keep their money, right? Like, they don't need to buy an $88 shirt. So I don't know. It's hard to justify that. Andrew Ross Sorkin makes like $10 million a year, dude. He can afford to do that. Like, look, if you're making good money, I have no issue with you spending. The reason I say idiot, not for the people that are swimming in cash and that can afford this, and it's like a drop in the bucket for them. But if you're making like less than $100,000 a year and you have actual expenses because you're an adult and like you have rent and taxes and stuff, like $88 for a shirt, dude, that's just a lot of money. I feel like you got to be making closer to $250,000, $300,000 to be dropping that much money. It's called drip. Dude, my whole life I've gotten pretty drippy, okay? You know, and like pretty much every girl I've talked to, they've dripped, if you know what I'm talking about. So I've been able to be drippy without having to look without having to buy $88 shirts, okay? I think drip is about personality more than anything else. You can like look at Alex Karp. He wears a white shirt. He's got drip, white t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Basic white t-shirt. He's got plenty of drip. Look, wow, Kelly pops up. You make one comment about a funny joke that has to do with girls. It's like a funny little joke. Boom, she pops up out of nowhere. Like, where has she been for an hour and 10 minutes? You make one joke, boom, there you go. There's the face. There's the face. There we go. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Oh, by the way, while we're on the topic of Kelly, she did let me give her a shout out because she did officially start a Twitter subscription thingy. So if anyone wants to access her deep dark secrets on subscriptions, you can see I'm subscribed. The funniest thing about this is I subscribed to her like 2 weeks ago, and the shit wasn't working. Like, but Twitter charged me. They took $3 from my PayPal, but I didn't show up, so I couldn't see any of her things, her tweets. And as you can see right here, boom. She let me not show everything, but there you go. You got to pay $3 a month to get access to her content. It's her OnlyFans. Yeah, it's basically her OnlyFans on Twitter. So if you want to subscribe to, but yesterday I fixed it. I went through like the Twitter thing and I fixed it out, and I'm subscribed to her now. So people have been asking. The reason I bring this up is people were like, "Yo, are you going to start this subscription thing when you get access to like paid subs?" And probably not, dude, because I don't know what I'm going to talk about on this. Like, people have been saying like, "Yo, how much are you going to charge?" I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can justify charging anything because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to talk about. At least Kelly can like do a pseudo OnlyFans. I have nothing. I have literally nothing to talk about. Like, anything I'll talk about stocks or anything, it's not, like I just want to tweet it. You know, I don't want to put it under a paywall. So I'm probably not going to take advantage of it. But one interesting thing about what Kelly shared is that now she's getting pushed more in the algorithm because Twitter's being smart. They're like, oh, if Kelly gets more subscribers, they get more of a cut on her revenue. So it's like Twitter has an incentive to push people, basically like a pseudo Patreon inside of Twitter, if you sign up. So like if you subscribe to Kelly for $3, I think Twitter gets like 50 cents or whatever out of it. So Twitter makes more money. So I do think the creator economy from Twitter's economics are going to open up a lot more. Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of Twitter, said that they already paid out about $45 million over the past 12 months to creators. And so it seems like there's going to be more of Twitter pushing people to subscribe to creators to support them, just to be able to monetize on the revenue. I just don't fucking know what I would talk about, you know. But I'm open. If you have anybody that I should subscribe to, let me know in the chat. I'm open to subscribe to like any creators because I just love supporting people on Twitter. And so I think when Arnie gets the subscriptions, I'll subscribe to Arnie. Like, I want to subscribe to people that like I'm dope with in the community, just to support. But I don't fucking know what I would charge for. Amid feed pics, dude, my feet are incredible, bro. My feet are incredible. I can't show you my feet right now, but I can show you what my feet are in all day. Look at this. This is what I fucking do, bro. This is why I don't shop at Lululemon. This is what I've been wearing for the past 3 weeks. Look at this. Look at this, baby. This is what we do. We wear Crocs and we don't complain about the price because we don't need to buy, $500 shoes. So I can see the brown stains. Yeah, dude, I wear this shit everywhere. Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention. Okay, so I finally have incorporated biking into my Robinhood 3.5% after hours into my regimen. Okay. So after the market opened today, I went on a bike ride. I did 4 miles around the lake near my house. And let's just say my legs are jelly right now. Okay. Literal jelly. Like, my legs are actually like I can't, like, I have not rode a bike for 4 miles in probably 20 years, dude. It's been so long. But I want to do this every single day. I was sweating like crazy after, which is good. I got a good sweat in. Got to ride the bike, and it was good 4 miles. And like it's like a little terrain, so I had to like really pedal, to get up the terrain because it's like a hill. And it was good. So I'm gonna do this every single day after the market open, and just keep doing my bike ride, and see what and see what I can do. But I think my legs are finally going to get built this summer. Like my goal in July and August is to get ripped. Do you wear gloves when you bike? Okay, that's not funny. That's not funny. I wear gloves one time to the gym, and I can't escape these comments. But no, I don't wear gloves when I bike. But I think this summer I'm gonna lose the weight I want to lose, and I'm gonna get my legs ripped, and my arms are good. My triceps definitely need to get better, but I'm gonna keep working on my arms. I think by the end of August, dude, because I want to get basically my plan. I'm gonna be 27 in October. By September, I want to be in perfect physique shape. I don't know if that made sense, but I want to be in perfect shape before I'm 27. Do you wear gloves in the bathroom? Yes, I do. This is ridiculous, but yes, I do. So my goal is by 27, which is October 27th. I'll be 27 on October 27th. So it'll be on that 27th day. I want to be like so this summer I'm going all out, and I'm not traveling anywhere this summer. I'm going to be home. The problem with my health journey the past 6 months, and it's a shitty excuse, but nonetheless, I'm going to use this as an excuse, is I've been traveling too much. And you guys know I'm going to California next week. So it's just like, there's so much traveling I've been doing. And when you travel, you got to you're not going to eat perfect, right? Like you're just going to eat bad. And then you're not going to be that incentivized to work out if you're traveling, right? So it's like, it's been bad eating, inconsistent diet. But in the summer, July and August, I'm going nowhere. I'm staying at home. I only need like 2 months to really, really lose the weight I want to do, because I've been through this journey many times. It's not hard for me to lose weight. I just have to sit there and do it. Not literally sit there, you know what I mean? But like actually just be at one spot. And so that's my goal. That's my goal in the summer. And we're going to get and I'm going to get my diet right. Steamed veggies. Yeah. And I like steamed veggies, dude. I like eating healthy. It's just when you're in DC and you got to fucking, do a trillion things at this Pounter conference, it's really hard to eat your steamed veggies, It's a bad excuse. It's not a good excuse. I'm not saying it's a good excuse. It's a bad one, because if you really wanted to eat healthy, you could eat healthy. But it's just hard when you're traveling. Robin at 2130 after hours up 4%. So the goal is in the summer to do that and to get these legs back in shape. And that's why I bought the bike. Literally, I bought the bike after Nvidia earnings. I don't have any Nvidia stock, so it's not like I made a lot of money off Nvidia. But that day I was like, you know what? I need a fucking bike. And I just went to Walmart and I got a bike. And I got a helmet. I got everything I need. And I was like, I'm just going to commit to driving this bike every day. And so today was the first day of doing that. And that's what we're doing. Kelly says, are we doing Vegas in October? I'm coming back from India like October 20th. So I don't know if we're doing Vegas, dude. Like, because that's Vegas a week after I come back from India. And I kind of don't know, dude. I feel like I'm going to be so tired to go and live it up in Vegas. Even though it is the 27th birthday, it should be good. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do it right back after India. Chad says he's in the chat because Mitt won't answer my DMs. What did you say, Chad? Okay, yes, Chad. Tomorrow works. Tomorrow works. Yes. Oh wait, 2 to 3. Wait, hold on. What time is that Central? Yeah, that doesn't work, Chad. Chad, don't you know I have a show during that time? Do you want to take me away from my show? Are you insane, dude? 2 p.m. CST to EST. Yeah, that doesn't work. Can we do 6 to 7 my time, so 5 to 6 your. Okay, I'll text you in the chat. But 5 to 6 your time, 6 to 7 my time is the best. Chad tried to take me away from you guys, dude. Chad tried to not get me to do my show. Dude, I missed the show so much yesterday. And it's like I don't know. I didn't feel fully in my zone this morning. Like I think it was a good show, but like I was a little rusty, dude. Like just stumbling upon words and mispronouncing stuff. Now I know you'll say, "Oh, Mitt, you mispronounce on everything and you stumble on everything." It's like, yes, but there's a different type of stumbling I was doing this morning. This morning it was like in between topics I was stumbling. I was like, I don't like this, dude. I was like rusty, So it's I hate missing a day. And next week we're gonna miss like 2 or 3 days. But we got to get back in the motion to keep it going. Now, granted, I'll still mispronounce everything, but it's a different type of mispronouncing. Hansel says, don't eat any street food in India. Yeah, dude, you don't have to tell me. Indian street food, that you'll be in the bathroom for the next fucking. That's worse than Taco Bell. It's worse than Taco Bell. It's just not it. Okay, did we talk about everything, dude? I think we talked about pretty much everything. Walmart bikes have a reputation for broken pedals within the first 2 months. Okay, I hope my bike does not break in the first fucking 2 months. That would be upset. I think it's good, dude. I think the bike I had is good. Like I'm not an expert on bikes, but I think I got a decent bike. And I was gonna go to Dick's, but I actually went to Dick's because it's near Walmart, and they didn't have any bikes. And I was just like, okay, so I'm going to Walmart then if you don't have any bikes. And so I just went to Walmart instead. All right, so the biggest news after the hours is Robinhood right here, up 5% on this share buyback news. Absolutely incredible, up 4.74%, $21.44 billion of their stock. They're buying it out. They're going to be able to buy back over the next 2-3 years, and we'll keep seeing how this plays out. Matt says Amit can ride me like a bike. Okay, interesting. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll Google it. What does ride like a bike mean? I'm just kidding. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Are we done? There's nothing else here. Robinhood's here. Kava's still down 6%. Hims, wow, Hims is up another 0.2% after hours. That's up 13%. Nvidia up 7%. Robinhood up 4.84%. Enphase 129, and then Kava's down 5% on the day. Palantir, where's Palantir? Palantir 2101, down a little bit after hours. And then Robinhood 4.79%, 2142. All right, I think that's it. That's some pretty big news. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the market open, and we'll keep going from there. Daily Palantir episode will be out in a couple hours, and we'll talk about more updates in the world of Palantir. But yeah, I mean, I think the Robinhood news is big. Kava, good earnings, even if the stock is down. It's good to understand the consumer is still strong at Kava. Box earnings were fine, not a big deal. Tomorrow's a big one. We have CRM, we have C3 AI, and we have Path. So tomorrow are 3 big software companies, and those are going to be important ones as well. And so we'll keep going from there. And GameStop up 20%. GameStop up 20% as well. So we will see. We will see how it all plays out. All right, that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Market open. We'll be back in our groove, 8:45 a.m. And keep going from there. Clive says, go ride your bike for another 4. Dude, I don't think I could ride my bike for another 4 miles, dude. My legs are dead. But it's good. We got back in the motion. We'll do it again tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.